Star Wars The Mandalorian Season 2 Episode 3 is right around the corner, and here we want to preview what to expect in that episode based on what's been going on in the show so far and some new reports. Are we gonna see Boba again? That's the question. What's up, everybody? It's Josh. Welcome back to the channel. Smash that like button. Let's get right into this report. So here's the thing. When it comes to The Mandalorian Season 2, we can expect the unexpected. The second season has been full of surprises thus far, and even though we've known some things, like certain characters that would pop up, the way that they have popped up and the speed at which some of them have popped up has been really surprising. Like, I did not expect Boba Fett to be teased or Cobb Vanth to play a big role in episode number 1, and I didn't expect the Frog Lady and the Ice Spiders and him crashing to be the whole point and crux of episode number 2. And I actually think this is fantastic. Like, I'm starting to really appreciate the secrecy for the show because, like I said, you know, even though we know all of these different things, we still don't know when they're going to happen, how they're going to happen in the show. And honestly, even this next episode could just be a Moff Gideon episode. Like, it could just jump into this other time period or this other narrative, and then we'd be like, holy crap. So there's a lot of mystery here, and I do like that. But there is this description going around on Google, and these Google descriptions for the past 2 episodes have been accurate. And if we look at what the description says here, it says the Mandalorian braves high seas and meets unexpected allies. And so most people think this is totally the shot from the trailer. This is going to be the docks where we see the Quarrens, where we see the eggs on the back of Frog Lady, and potentially her husband are even in that shot that we see. And also, of course, there is this shot of Sasha Banks. Now, I should mention there's still a contingent of fans that don't think Sasha Banks will be Sabine Wren, and there's a lot of reasons to doubt that at this point, but as far as we know, that is the most heavily rumored and reported thing, that Sasha Banks will be playing Sabine Wren. But of course, that is not confirmed, and she could be playing just a night owl character, she could be some kind of bounty hunter, and she could also be a new character, potentially Boba Fett's daughter. Now, we do know that Din Djarin is currently searching for a coven of Mandalorians on this planet. That is the whole reason that he is passaging the Frog Lady, so that he can get access to this coven. We can assume the coven is very isolated, and likely the reason that the child and the Mandalorian must take that boat and fly over the water to get to it. Now, I want to go back to this shot of Sasha Banks from the trailer for a second here, because some fans noticed there's some weird graphics artificing in the image if you blow it up to a very high resolution. And this could indicate some manipulation in post-production, like CGI sort of stuff. So technically, this shot here could be in the show, but she would have Sabine's actual helmet on. It's possible we see her in the helmet with this exact same shot. The CGI could have just altered Sabine's hair, and that was just kept a secret or done in order to throw fans off, because of course, if you see some crazy colorful hair on someone in a cloak, it's very likely to be Sabine, as Sabine was very fond of colors. She was an artist. She did a lot of painting. It's very cool and a central part of her character. But if this shot is not altered, and that is indeed Sabine, it would beg the question of why does she not rock her helmet? Why is she not in Mandalorian armor? I thought this was the way. But hold that thought, because this could tie into something else that I believe we will see in the episode, and that will be Katie Sackhoff's Bo Katan. I mean, at this point, I don't think there's a lot of Mandalorians in the galaxy at all, and finding a coven of them outside of what was on Navarro is likely a very big freaking deal. And if Bo Katan is alive, which we believe that she is, and if she's going to be portrayed in live action by Katie Sackhoff, which we believe she will, then it would make sense that the rightful ruler of Mandalore would be with this coven of Mandalorians. And so that's a lot of speculation, but essentially my gut is telling me that this episode of The Mandalorian is going to be more significant plot-wise than episode 2. I liked episode 2, but I know a lot of fans considered it to be filler. I think in episode 3, we're going to sort of return back to form, and we're going to be left with a very crazy cliffhanger. And even if we don't get a cliffhanger, I think we're going to get some real meat for the plot in this episode. Now, if I had to really speculate and go to speculation town, what I am hoping to see is both Sabine Wren and Bo Katan, and I'd actually love it if they're both working together, and this coven on whatever planet this is a very big deal and sort of a last vestige of what is left of Mandalorians. And it could be possible that Bo Katan actually has a different creed than the armorer had for that other contingent of Mandalorians that were on Navarro. I mean, maybe wearing Mandalorian armor, even if there's only one of them, is actually putting a target on your back more than not. So maybe now their code of conduct is to sort of try to blend in as to not raise suspicion or to not be seen as a Mandalorian at all, which would be really interesting and potentially could be a way for Din Djarin to take the helmet off. I know there's a lot of debate about this. Is Pedro Pascal going to be seen more in the show? Is he not going to be seen more? There's this whole drama that supposedly happened there. So maybe this is a way that Pedro could be seen as Din Djarin outside of the helmet more in the show moving forward. Now, I also just want to say that if Bo Katan and Sabine are both with this Mandalorian Coven, this is such a big freaking deal and will be a pinnacle moment for the show and for Din Djarin and for Mandalore moving forward in the lore. I also think this will be the tie-in to us getting a lot more of an explanation of what happened to Mandalore and how Moff Gideon had to do with that. Because remember, Bo Katan is the person that we last see with the Darksaber before Moff Gideon. So Moff Gideon must have taken it from Bo Katan. Maybe we will get that story filled in by her to Din Djarin. It's possible we even get that in this episode. I think that will likely be something held off, but once you start to introduce Bo Katan, I really feel like this plot sort of takes off and also just launches into all these really cool places for the Filoniverse to potentially play in. And the last thing I want to say in this preview of crazy things we could see in The Mandalorian episode number 3 for season 2 is that Boba is still on the table. And one of the things that I really loved about episode 2 is the opening scene on Tatooine where Din Djarin gets basically jumped and he loses his speeder. And the reason I like this scene, not only is it really cool and the jetpack thing was funny, but it also just makes it work as to how Boba could have caught up to Din, how Boba could track Din, and how Boba could essentially now have caught up to Din Djarin wherever he is at in the galaxy. And so now Boba can linger over every single episode. Like, there's literally nothing stopping them from Mando pulling up to the new Mandalorian Coven. He's like, hey, what's up? And then they start like all talking. And then Boba pulls up right after him. And he's like, you got my armor, motherfucker. Give me that shit. Or, you know, maybe something different. But essentially what I'm saying is like Boba could technically pop up at any time now, which is really cool and really exciting. But there you have it, guys. A nice little preview based on some things we know, some things going on in the show, and a lot of speculation. I, of course, want to know what you think. What do you expect to see in The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 3? Let us know in the comment section below. And now let's shout out Sideswipes28. Yes, indeed, it was the episode named Twin Sons, where Obi-Wan finally destroys Darth Maul. Now let's ask another nerd card question before we get out of here. I want to know, what is the name of the character that Dave Filoni plays in The Mandalorian? If you like this video, make sure you like it. If you're not subscribed to this channel, what are you thinking? You got to subscribe so you don't miss any videos. If you're enjoying the content over here, then you will absolutely love the live streams we do straight from Nerd Ventures Tower, Monday through Friday, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.